Welcome, my name is Homai, and in this video I had a request to make a video on the other inversions for the E major cadence. So that was a few weeks ago. I've been super busy with all the semester starting and everything and all my classes, but I wanted to get this video done, so here it is. I'm finally making it. So E major, we've already covered the root position form. So to understand this, we first need to understand inversions. Inversions are really simple. So to do this, let me explain it on some staff paper here. And let's just do this in treble clef. So let's say we have an E major chord, which is just E, G sharp, and B. We have three parts of the triad. Hopefully you already know this, but if you don't, this is the root of the chord. Then you have the third of the chord, and lastly you have the fifth of the chord. Okay. Root of the chord is E, and that's why it is called an E major chord, Roman numeral 1. If we're to invert it, all we're going to do is we're going to move the root of the chord higher, okay? And what happens now is the third of the chord is in the bass position. Bass position means it's the lowest note. Okay, so I'll fill in the bass note. So that's the bass note here. This is the bass note here. It's still an E major chord. We would just write it E over G sharp, since the bass note, the lowest note, is G sharp. And it is a 1 chord. Okay, but the figured bass symbol is 6. Shorthand for 6/3. Right? Based on the distance between the notes. We're not going to cover figured bass in this video. I'm sure I'll make one covering that in a future video. This is what we call first inversion. So in the first iteration, we have root position. Okay, if the third is in the bass position, we have first inversion. And if the fifth is in the bass, that means I'm going to invert this one more time. The fifth is in the bass, then we are in second inversion. And the symbol for this is a 1/6/4, still an E major chord, but this time it's E over B. Okay. So every one of these chords is based on this. So in the original cadence, we started in root position. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do first inversion, and then second inversion. Okay. So now that we understand that basics there, and if you don't understand it perfectly, you don't need to for this video here. I'm just, touching a little bit on those concepts here, so you understand where they come from. So we already did root position. If we're going to start in first inversion, let's zoom in a little bit. Here's the first inversion. We do have a G sharp. I'm going to mark all those sharps. Okay, these are what we call cautionary accidentals. Cautionary accidentals are accidentals that are already there. We don't need to notate them again, but we choose to notate them in order to just make it a little bit easier for us to remember what they are. Okay, so you've got the G sharp, but in the key of E major, we have 4 sharps: F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. So let's add our other sharps as well. We have the C sharp here, and we also have the F sharp and the D sharp here, the D sharp and the 7th chord here. Okay, so those are our sharps. If you prefer, you could highlight the notes that are sharped. Lots of ways you could make life a little easier for yourselves. My philosophy is that music notation should be as easy as possible. It's not about, proving that you can do everything, with as little information as possible. It's about learning music as quickly and efficiently as possible. So for the 1 chord, we have E major in first inversion. That's G sharp, B, E. The 4 chord will be A, C sharp, E. Back to the 1 chord, G sharp, B, E. The 5 chord, F sharp, B, D sharp. And back to the 1 chord, G sharp, B, E. I'm not doing the 5/7 version here, but you are welcome to do that as well. So we have 1, 4, 1, 5, 1. The fingering does work here if you choose to use 1, 2, 4 there. Left hand, same notes, G sharp, B, E, 1 chord, 4 chord in root position, A major, back to the E1/6, 5 chord, and back to the 1 chord. If we take a look at the next one, we're going to be starting in second inversion, E major second inversion. I'll go ahead and mark my sharps as well. G sharp, you have a C sharp on the 4 chord. 1 chord also has the G sharp, of course. We'll not look at the 5/7 in this case. And you have a D sharp and an F sharp in the 5 chord. Notice the 5 chord, it's in root position. And then you've got your sharp on the 1 chord. So for the right hand here, you could start with 1, 3, 5. Okay, you could also do 1, 2, 4. I'm going to do 1, 3, 5. Those with you with larger hands, 1, 2, 4, you might find to be a little easier, but it's up to you. 1, 3, 5, then C sharp, E, A, back to 1 chord, 1, 2, 4 here. You could also use 1, 3, 5, and back to the 1 chord. Left hand, same idea. 5, 2, 1, B, E, G sharp, C sharp, E, A, 1 chord, 5 chord is B, D sharp, F sharp, and back to the 1 chord, B, E, G sharp. Together. Okay, and that is the cadence. So once you have mastered each of these cadences, starting in the different inversions, you can play them sequentially. Here's starting in root position. First inversion. Second inversion. Okay. The point of learning cadences is to familiarize your hands and your mind with all of the chords, or most of the chords you're going to encounter in music. So these are really powerful exercises, very profound. If you master the cadences in every major and minor key, you've covered the vast majority of harmonies you'll encounter in music. So, anyways, that's why it's important. I recommend playing through all of your scales, all of your arpeggios, all of your cadences first thing every day in your practice. That's first thing. And it only takes about 15 minutes to do so. So once you're trained, if you haven't learned them all, don't pile everything at the same time. Learn one until you're comfortable, add another, and then when you're comfortable with them all, then you can go through the sequence. You can also save time. Maybe one day, Monday, for example, you do all your cadences in root position. Tuesday, you'll do them in first inversion. Wednesday, you'll do them in second inversion. Okay, so there's many ways you can break it up based on the kind of time you have to allocate to practice. But the most important thing is that you're doing it consistently over time until it is completely automatic. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.